I'd like to call to order the Dauphin County Board of Commissioners workshop meeting for Wednesday, July 9th, 2025. We'll begin with a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Just a special note, we will have an extended moment of silence acknowledging the passing of MDJ Smith. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. We have three portions of minutes to review. We have workshop, legislative, salary board minutes in front of us. Are there any questions about the reviewing of the minutes that will be approved in next week's board meeting? Hearing none, we'll move on to executive sessions held between meetings. Mr. Haggerty.
On Tuesday, July 8th, an executive session was held to obtain the advice of legal counsel regarding contract negotiations, personnel matters, tax assessment, and the purchase or lease of real property.
Any questions of Mr. Haggerty? Hearing none, we'll move on to public participation on agenda items only. So this is public participation for items that are on our agenda before us for action today. With that being said, it is a 3-minute clock for those wishing to give comment, and we are being live streamed, just so you're aware. Are there any comments for public participation on agenda items only? Seeing none, we'll move on to directors and guests, and we have guests from the Peyton Walker Foundation, Julie Walker. Welcome.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much. For those who are not aware, the Peyton Walker Foundation is doing amazing work that Commissioner Hartwick just reminded me of right here in central Pennsylvania. The mission of the foundation simply is to increase awareness and survival rates of sudden cardiac arrest. And it was started after we lost our daughter without warning. She was 19 years old, a student up at King's College in Wilkes-Barre, and we got the phone call that every parent absolutely dreads, letting us know that our daughter had just been taken to the hospital. We learned that day we lost her to sudden cardiac arrest. We knew nothing about it, but now, sadly, we have become subject matter experts on something that no parent ever wants to be well-versed in. I want to just show a quick video. What is sudden cardiac arrest? Because it's very confusing. People don't really understand. It's a little hard to watch some of these, but this is what we're fighting against.
Hi everyone, I'm John Dresner, Director of the UW Medicine Center for Sports Cardiology, and in the next 100 seconds, I want to show you how to recognize sudden cardiac arrest in an athlete.
He can be seen coming out of a timeout huddle, his head dropping. He stumbles, then alarmingly, he falls face first.
Here you see Keontae head drop, stumble, sudden collapse. This is what sudden cardiac arrest in an athlete looks like.
And collapses, just like Hamlin did, in sports from football to lacrosse to baseball.
In Mark Vivian Foe, he shows all the signs of sudden cardiac arrest: continued breathing after collapse, eyes open and rolled back, the face of sudden cardiac arrest. For Damar, after his arrest, his arms go up with seizure-like activity. And for Christian Erickson, a sudden collapse, also unresponsive, eyes open, brief seizure activity in his leg. This is sudden cardiac arrest.
We've been there, but that's not a good look at all.
With Claire, a dramatic episode, collapse with seizure-like activity in the arms, an amazing emergency response. Call for help, someone go get the AED.
So as you can see in that last video, Claire collapsed at a volleyball game. Thank God the school was prepared. They had an emergency action plan. They had an AED. Claire was alive and responsive before EMS even got there. So you can see sudden cardiac arrest. It happens without warning. You know, a lot of times no signs and symptoms, completely different than a heart attack. And kids typically don't have heart attacks. They have cardiac arrest. So you can see what the difference is, an electrical problem versus a plumbing problem. Quick stats about sudden cardiac arrest. It's the #1 killer of student athletes. The #1 killer of student athletes. It's the leading cause of death on school campuses. 1 in 25 schools will have cardiac arrest event every single year. And overall, 1,200 cardiac arrests in the United States every single day, and less than 10% survive. So it is a huge health issue we need to make an impact. So when we started the foundation, we really looked at how can we make the greatest impact, and our 3 areas of service are checking hearts, protecting hearts, and saving lives. And we go into schools, we provide heart screenings free of charge to community members, kids ages 10 to 22, looking for those hidden heart issues that can cause cardiac arrest. We partner with all of the major healthcare systems in the region. When these kiddos come in, we review their health history, we check their vitals, we give them electrocardiogram, listen for murmurs, and also give echocardiograms if needed. Everyone who comes learns how to do CPR and how to use an AED, which could be the first line of defense in saving a life. In Dauphin County, we partner primarily with UPMC. In other counties, we work with CHOP, Geisinger, Lancaster General, UPMC, and WellSpan. Another great thing we've accomplished, protecting hearts. We worked with Senator Regan in 2020 to pass Payton's Law. It was, then one of the most contentious times in our political climate, and we were able to get this passed bipartisan. And really, it makes all parents and players of PIAA sports aware of cardiac arrest and encourages them to get an electrocardiogram test for their heart to find these hidden heart issues that can lead to cardiac arrest. Protecting hearts, we are constantly getting AEDs or defibrillators out into the community. We've donated over 900 so far. We focus primarily on youth organizations and sports organizations that serve youth to protect their hearts. But we've done a phenomenal job. You can see here in these photos, we now have save stations, which make AEDs available 24/7 for the community. We have one at Cornerstone. It was the first save station installed in Pennsylvania, and we just installed one at City Island a few months ago. We have a committee that reviews applications. We prioritize youth organizations. There is a copay. And we make these available through the Peyton Walker Foundation. And we get this program funded through grants and donations. And we've had multiple saves. The one we installed at Mount Gretna, the save station, was actually used. The AED in there was actually used to save a life 2 summers ago. So protecting hearts, you'll see us working relentlessly in the community, offering CPR demonstrations, really making sure people know how to help save a life if they're experiencing a family member or community member who has cardiac arrest. So education is really key in helping to save lives. And we also provide CPR classes. We make it incredibly affordable for the public to join us for $25 a person to get certified. Another great program, and I'll leave some behind with this, is our Protecting Hearts friendship bracelet. If you scan that QR code, it takes you to a video how to perform CPR. So again, a great way to really educate the community how to save a life. New project I am so proud of is the 4-Minute Community Project. I want to share a great video to really explain what this is all about.
911, what is your emergency?
It's my wife. I've been shaking her, but she's not moving. I don't think she's breathing.
She's not awake?
She's not responding.
And she's not breathing at all?
She isn't breathing. What do I do?
My partner's dispatching an ambulance to you, and I'm going to work on getting an AED to your location.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? God, she's not responding. Please, hurry.
Okay, I'm going to help you out, and I'm going to give you some instructions for CPR, okay?
Please, just hurry.
Cardiac arrest nearby. Take this AED. Cardiac arrest nearby. Take this AED. Cardiac arrest nearby. Take this AED.
Okay, I've located an AED. I have one nearby. It's on its way to you.
Thank you. Please, hurry.
Okay, looks like the AED is getting close. Can you go to your front door and meet them?
Okay.
Powered on. Stand back. Delivering shock in 3, 2, 1.
So this is a revolutionary program. I've seen this video hundreds of times and still get goosebumps every time I watch it. This is the AED. We have placed 300 of these in Cumberland County. We are in the process of deploying 320 in Dauphin County. They are provided to community members at no cost, as long as they're willing to respond. And you can see how those alerts come through the 911 center, the device alerts. You get an alert on your cell phone. We are in the process of getting those remaining AEDs out in Dauphin County. There's 5 cities in the United States that are operating this program. 2 are here in central Pennsylvania. It is remarkable. We are changing the future of how we address sudden cardiac arrest. So we actually had the very first save through this program in the United States last summer in Upper Allen Township. That AED was used to save a gentleman's life, and truly it was the shock heard around the world because we are making a huge impact, and the entire country is watching. So additionally, for saving lives, through our AED donation program, here's faces of people whose lives have been saved. Little Alicia on the right actually lives in Dauphin County, was saved by an AED a few years ago and just celebrated her 13th birthday. These are the stories that make us get out of bed every day and do the work we're doing. Kirsten Keys learned CPR through Peyton Walker Foundation, used it to save a life. So, she is so grateful that she attended our CPR class and was able to save a life. The AED that saved the life of the gentleman on the right-hand side there, that was donated to the Harrisburg Senators Baseball Stadium through the Peyton Walker Foundation. It saved his life last summer when he was attending an event on City Island. We now moved that AED outside of the stadium, so it is publicly accessible all the time. Think of the thousands and thousands of people who use City Island on a regular basis. Other quick things we're involved in, we're working with the NFL Smart Heart Coalition to try to get legislation passed in every state across the United States to make sure that AEDs are available where kids play and practice sports, to make sure coaches know CPR, and to make sure they have a plan in place. This map should be unacceptable to every person in this room. Pennsylvania is one of 5 remaining states that has no legislation around these 3 issues that could save a life of our kiddos. We are working to get this law passed this year. Hopefully we can get this done because this is not acceptable to live in the Commonwealth and not have this legislation. We work with the Cardiac Safety Research Consortium, Duke University, and the US FDA, trying to get databases put together so we can do more research and save more lives of kids moving forward. Our funding sources primarily grants, EITC funding, general donation, and we have different fundraising events. That's where we're getting most of our funding to do our work. We're a small but mighty team. We work relentlessly, and we truly have placed central Pennsylvania on the map as a national leader in sudden cardiac arrest, prevention, awareness, and survival. We're really incredibly proud of the work we're doing. Things that we need, again, we've got about 120 more of these AEDs available for volunteers in the Dauphin County area. We're looking primarily too for northern Dauphin County. We really need to get AEDs distributed up there. So we would love help in promoting this program through the commissioners. Always looking for funding to get more CPR training for the community, get more save stations out, and supporting our heart screening program as well. And I will leave that. Any questions from any of you?
I'm always I get goosebumps and emotional when I hear Julie. It's the idea of your tragedy and what happened to your family and the ability that God is placing you and light is placed in you to be able to ensure that you created a legacy and have used that as a motivation force to save lives and ensure that sort of the way that you've dealt with the horrible grief that I couldn't imagine.
Don't try. Don't try to imagine.
But the idea of what you've done in action is an example of even seeing now technology, as much as it separates our lives, actually bring a concept of neighbors helping neighbors again, and the idea that we all have an obligation, a responsibility to react and respond when somebody else in our community is in need. I think the amount of effort and passion that you put in here is clear. I don't know if I've seen a more concise and direct presentation that's moving and one that has a more direct impact to be able to save lives. I would ask if you could just get folks in economic development to find out what ways we may be able to support you through. I think the game process may be the best process to be able to do it. And I think we've partnered in the past to be able to do that. But even if it means working with emergency management and then being able to help better. I think one thing is about knowing that you have 300 of these devices, but strategically thinking in Dauphin County from a geographical and maybe an area that may have had a higher based upon socioeconomic impacts and the social determinants of health, sort of where we could position those to have the most impact. Be smart and strategic about placing those out. Anything we can do to support you with data for help.
Thank you very much. And you'll see there is a report that was provided to you. It's a summary of how we are doing in Dauphin and Cumberland counties so far with the 4-Minute Community Program over the last quarter. You'll see how many calls came in, how many responses there were. So it's incredible data. And actually, when we started the program, we did do a complete comprehensive study of Dauphin County. Where are the cardiac arrests happening? Where do we most need these devices? And we've tried to strategically deploy them. So we need help. We still have 100 to get out there. And I agree. The community members helping each other is unbelievable.
And Kirsten Nicole Harris, I remember that story, Pastor Stokes, and that all happened, and her training, things that you have invested in order to get people prepared. Again, it's not just in the devices, it's in our ability to respond and have those skill sets as well. So thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Julie. Great to see you. I do remember in past years we actually have provided some contributions from our gaming allocation to you. So as Commissioner Hartwick said, please feel free to put it again. I'm going to ask Eric Haggerty, our Chief of Staff, to work with you if there's any way that we can put out this message on social media to other municipalities and media partners throughout Dauphin County. Your heartbreak has truly led to life and hope for other members of the community. And you look at what's happening across the state of Pennsylvania, Cumberland County, now Dauphin County, the amount of lives that will be saved in the future due to the heartbreak that you've experienced. And we can see it in your face. Your presentations are spot on. Couldn't be prouder of what you're doing. You know, your daughter's smiling down right now on you and others that are benefiting from her. And I couldn't help but hear from the table next to me, the treasurer and the controller sit. When you were talking about the 4-Minute Community, I heard one of them say, wow. And I think that was the reaction by everybody here. So thank you for everything you're doing on behalf of those individuals whose lives will be saved in the future because of what you are doing. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, and thank you for your continued support. The gaming funds and the economic development funds have been essential. This is a community project. This is everyone working together to save lives. So thank you.
Well, you also were very helpful with the Big 33 in the past. You know, every player that comes in now gets tested because of you.
Correct. Yep. So we have a great partnership with Big 33 as well.
Julie, I just want to thank you for sharing and bringing this to our attention and obviously amplifying it to the community through those in the room, but also those watching the live stream. Obviously, what's clear in watching this is the impact that you've had on this region and the leadership that you have in the nation, because a program like this being replicatable across other communities, even with the stats you shared, it's clearly a need across our country. And what a way to honor the legacy of your daughter. And so just very thankful for you and your commitment to turn your pain into purpose. And I share my colleagues in saying, please continue to utilize gaming money. I know we've supported, I think even this year, we supported a gaming grant for this so I'm, 37,000, I think, or something to that effect. So just know that obviously we see this as incredible for our community and value added. And then on top of it, the opportunity to support a program that's cutting edge, leading, innovating around public safety in this way, around emergency response. It's definitely something that we want to continue to invest in. I'll also just add one thing my colleagues didn't. You had mentioned state legislation. If there's anything we can do as county commissioners to speak to representatives and to emphasize the importance of legislation. Obviously, if there's certain initiatives that you're championing, please don't hesitate to request a letter of support from us, because we would want to, commit to you having that on our behalf, or commit to conversations that we might be able to have that might, in some way influence that. We would want to, leverage that, because this seems like such a important thing and something that hopefully can be a no-brainer beyond the politics of sides and all of that, because this should be something everyone's for. So thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
This time we'll move on to Human Resources. Cassie Rashinsky.
no items that need voted on for the personnel packet today, and there's no salary board packet this week.
Are there any questions? Cassie?
And just confirming the items we will be voting on are all within the 2025 budgeted numbers.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cassie.
Thank you.
Next up, Director of Budget and Finance, Christopher Davis.
I think so. I'm claiming it. Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
I have no changes to the purchase order packet that was sent out yesterday, and it will be ready for your vote and approval next week.
Any questions of Mr. Davis?
Are the items presented before us for next week's vote within the 2025 budgeted amount?
Based on the estimates, yes.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Hearing none, thank you. It's come to my attention that my colleagues would like adjustments to the oversight assignments. Therefore, as I've always said, this board is a democracy, and I'm submitting a new list of oversights to the Chief Clerk for distribution prior to his report. With that, we'll move right into the Chief Clerk's report. Mr. Haggerty.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you, Commissioner Douglas. I will circulate this list of revised oversights to department heads later this afternoon. We have only a handful of items on today's agenda requiring board action. One economic development agreement, 2 board appointments, the extension of a retention and recruitment agreement with SEIU, and a renewal of an ITA software agreement for server management. Given these revised oversights distributed just now, I will call attention to item 3 and recommend that when you consider item 3, you amend the item to instead appoint Commissioner Hartwick to the Conservation District in order to remain consistent with these revised oversights. I'd also like to take this opportunity to congratulate 5 of our colleagues from Children and Youth who recently graduated from the MLK Leadership Development Institute: Lisa Wheeler, Christy Yanez, Alyssa Rotz, Harold Brantley, and Sarah Odero. Congratulations. That concludes my report, unless there are any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Haggerty. Any questions of Mr. Haggerty? Hearing none, we'll move on to the solicitor's report. Mr. Owens.
Thank you, Commissioner. All matters requiring board action have been reviewed and approved by the Solicitor's Office.
Any questions of Mr. Owens?
Yes, can we get an update on Techport?
The construction manager continues to work on projected costs. July 18 is the date we're supposed to have all of that so that the board can review and make their final decision to close.
Thank you.
Any other questions of Mr. Owens? Hearing none, we'll move on to the training packet. We have 4 items before us on our training packet today. Do I have a motion?
So
moved by Commissioner Hartwick. Second?
I'll second that. Actually, I would like to pull item 5 for a separate vote. We can make an amendment.
Pull item 5 from the agenda or from
the motion for a second vote.
This is for
training packet. I'm sorry.
The training packet. There's
second.
Okay, second. So we have a motion by Commissioner Hartwick, second by Commissioner Priest for the training packet. No amendment. Am I understanding correctly? No amendment to the training packet. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Next up, we have matters requiring board action. Are there any items worthy of a second vote or
I'll make a motion
to be pulled?
I'll make a motion to approve items 1 through 4.
1 through 4. Okay. And can I request that you make that motion in light of the Chief Clerk's request that it is appointment of Commissioner Hartwick to the Dauphin County Conservation District, placing Commissioner
I will do
Justin.
so as long as my colleague is in support of that amendment. So moved.
Motion for the second and the second in light of the amendment. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 5 before us, agreement between Dauphin County Information Technology and Integrity One for VMware renewal for server management, 3-year contract. Commissioner Priest, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second the motion. Any discussion?
Yes, as I see that number in front of us is a large number, $364,124.16. Was that an item that we RFP'd prior to today?
I'm going to ask that Bob Evans, our IT director, make himself available to answer any questions about this. My understanding is that no, it's not the result of an RFP, but it is a renewal of an existing software platform we use for server management. But Bob is the expert, so I'll defer to him.
Just that, is there a reason we didn't RFP this? I know this board has, in the past year and change, publicly stated that we'd like to RFP as much as possible. Not saying we had to this time, we just haven't heard anything about it prior to today's vote.
Yeah, this was not RFP. The issue with it was VMware. They got bought by a separate company. Is the only thing our current server infrastructure supports. So we needed to stay with VMware. This is with the vendor that we initially had the VMware through. So it's a renewal for that.
So we're locked in.
We're stuck with it until we can redo our server infrastructure.
Is this an increase?
It is an increase.
And what is the increase?
About $30,000 a year. This is me trying to lock it in because the current licenses expire next Wednesday.
And to be clear, this number was budgeted for, though, correct?
Correct.
The 90,000 increase was budgeted for as well?
30,000. I budgeted it expecting that it was going to increase.
Okay. I appreciate that. I just want to say that if for some reason this board didn't support this and it's due next week, we'd be in a pickle, wouldn't we?
Very much so. I've already talked to the manager in my office who didn't tell me about it.
Thank you.
While you're here,
yes.
I've got one tangential question. For a follow-up meeting, I just would like to get an update, possible sort of storage space. Some
of course.
The issues that we're discussing or things that I've not seen any movement on. Yep. Have an understanding. So,
of course. Of course.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any further discussion? I have a motion, second motion made by Commissioner Hartwick, seconded by myself. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We have former business. Nothing there. Commissioners' comments. We'll begin with Commissioner Hartwick.
First, an update on the prison care healthcare RFP process. I indicated last week that, based upon sort of the feedback and the board's decision to evaluate each one of these proposals independently, I actually met, as suggested and promised, with Eric Haggerty and Vince Pease last week with the individual who ran the healthcare process on our behalf. Her name is Deborah Patch. And there were many things that I had concerns about related to both the evaluation and the process, which, I'm going to remain sort of internal related to those comments. The only thing I will do is we're going to have some discussion about a potential clear order of questions and a scoring rubric that will hopefully allow for us to have some level of evaluation that is based upon clear criteria related to the contract. None of us are experts, but I'd like to have that in place. We have those individuals scheduled through next Thursday, and we'll hopefully conclude by next Thursday those evaluations, and at that time we'll be prepared to discuss that in executive session and with the board. But going through and we will at this point individually talk to each one of those providers and try to get a clear set of questions and a clear set of responses based upon also an evaluation of potentially 1 to 5, so we can provide even the score related to our outcome. So that's number one. Number two, that in the past week, I know that we've talked last week about the concerns down in the steel plant. I know that there's not been a significant amount of action. I do know that the elected officials in this region have all stepped up and with a unilateral voice said, we are willing to step forward to be able to actively help employees and to figure out ways to try to get Cleveland Cliffs to the table and or put this steel mill in a position to be sold. Ultimately, we have formulated a letter that we'll be sending off to the president, and so far it's got the signatures of each one of our elected Democrats and Republicans in this county. So this idea that we are here unilaterally working together to be able to support our workers is one clear message that this legislative delegation, this board, and the local officials are coming together around. The employees face uncertainty. The one thing that they can be certain of, we're not going to rest on this issue. We're going to continue to advocate. And as a matter of fact, I'll be in Philadelphia this week meeting with the Secretary of the Intergovernmental Affairs Department for President Trump as well, and making sure that he's fully aware of both our concerns and our level of support. And speaking of Philadelphia, I've got the agenda for Friday for the Human Service and Education Policy Steering Committee. It's talking about the overview of the administration and priorities and the impact of Medicaid on children's services, supplemental nutrition assistance programs and reconciliation, the update on the Older Americans Act, which has not been extended, which is a real concern for all of us. We need to ask direct questions related to what's that going to mean to seniors, what is the congressional plans, and how is that going to impact Dauphin County. And there's a series of other concerns related to federal updates that we look forward to bringing back with the passage recently of legislation that's going to have a major impact. We need to be at the table and ensuring that we understand what those impacts are going to be here in order for us to be proactive rather than reactive. And I believe there is going to be some challenging news coming related to how we provide services in the future, what levels of cuts we're going to have to take on, and how we're going to have to restructure this in a way that is not going to fall directly on county taxpayers. Lastly, we met with the YMCA, just in my community update, to talk about a number of their services last week. We plan to take a tour of all of the upcoming YMCA locations, and I'm really excited about their involvement and their engagement in trying to serve those individuals who have additional behavioral health housing. So all of those have been very informative, and I look forward to reporting back on that tour. Thank you. That's all I have.
Commissioner Priest.
Yes. I'd like to start by saying that yesterday I had the privilege of attending the American Literacy Corporation's annual Super Reader event put on by Floyd Stokes. And it was over at HAC, the Rose Lehrman Center. About 30 children that were there for the summer camp. And I want to thank Floyd for his continued work on behalf of the community and the children. One of our county employees, Ruby Dowd, was there. She spent the day helping out, volunteering the students there, so I want to thank her as well. That's always a great event to attend. Secondly, I want to give a shout out to our interns, Cassie and Libby, for the great work that they've been doing in various departments throughout the county. And I know that next week Dan Robinson worked with Kelly McDonald to get them out at solid waste and recycling. So I think you'll enjoy that different scenery and the work that's done there on behalf of the county with recycling and within 40 municipalities that they do there. I'd like to congratulate Commissioner Hartwick on 98 days. I and others, both here at the county and within the community and our legislative delegation, have seen firsthand what a positive compliment he is to this Board of Commissioners when he is laser focused. And speaking of focused, I encourage this board to fulfill the commitment to run the county effectively, efficiently, and stay focused on the county business at hand, and curtail any distractions that would limit us undertaking the duties we were elected to perform. Of immediate concern, we have another difficult budget season approaching. We have a prison healthcare decision to make where the costs could see over a 100% increase of $6 to $8 million we have not budgeted for. We have ongoing union labor negotiations. They're not currently budgeted for. We have the Techport project timeline looming that is projected to save over $20 million if previously submitted numbers from past years come to fruition. We have the county employees health care contract approaching. And we have yet to make any public progress on the engineering RFP or RFQ that we promised over a year ago. Now more than ever, this board must be committed to seeing these items through and remove outside distractions. And that is my message to my colleagues.
Commissioner Priest. I actually also had the opportunity on Monday to be with Floyd Stokes at the writing summer camp to see the students there at Hack and ultimately the impact of that. I'm proud that we as a board supported that to help be a sponsor in making that happen. And I actually also told Floyd that I would love for them, once they're done, to come share, maybe have someone who wrote a great story to come share their story here at the Board of Commissioners and maybe share a little bit about the impact of that camp so that we can get that broader out there. In my commissioner comments, I'd like to share that last week Congress passed what's called the One Big Beautiful Bill. While we're still reviewing the full impact of that bill, it's already clear that the legislation will push many costs down from the federal level to the state and to the local governments, including counties like ours. And I want to be clear, this isn't about politics. It's about making sure the public understands that there are real challenges likely coming our way, especially for our most vulnerable residents here in Dauphin County. One of the biggest concerns is around food assistance. This bill cuts $186 billion from the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. That's funding our families here in the county rely on. Many. Governor Shapiro estimates that 144,000 Pennsylvanians could lose access to food support. Medicaid is also on the chopping block, according to the governor's team. Over 300,000 Pennsylvanians, around 7,800 right here in Dauphin County, are expected to lose Medicaid coverage. That means more people going without needed medical care and more strain on our already stressed healthcare system. National Association of Counties, or NACO, has flagged other risks as well. As I head to NACO conference this weekend in Philadelphia, I plan to gather as much information about the impacts of this bill so that we can be as prepared as we can as a county to respond. I'm raising these concerns now because we need to start preparing. As Commissioner Hartwick said, these changes won't happen overnight, but they will shape the decisions we make over the next few years, and certainly to be proactive for our residents would be the best position that Dauphin County can be in. I'm asking our Chief Clerk's office to work with our federal and state lobbyists to pull together a full report of how they anticipate these cuts could impact Dauphin County residents so we can be, again, as proactive as we can in our planning. I also want to thank all of our first responders who continue to deal with difficult heat and weather situations this summer and kept us safe this 4th of July weekend. I especially want to recognize the units from Hershey Fire, Union Deposit Fire Company, Middletown Volunteer Fire Department, Hummelstown Fire Department, Lower Swatara, Swatara Township, River Rescue of Harrisburg, and Harrisburg International Airport, who responded and were involved in rescuing 9 people stuck in dangerous waters at the Hershey Dam and the Swatara Creek on the 4th of July. I also want to urge our residents to be careful and do their research about the safest ways to use our beautiful rivers and creeks. Finally, I'd like to recognize Judge Michael Smith, who passed away this last weekend. He exemplified public service as a police officer for many years before becoming a judge. He served as a magisterial district judge since 2005. It's 2 decades of service to our county. He will be greatly missed. Our condolences go out to his family, friends, and the county staff that had the privilege of working alongside of him. As I see there's no correspondence on the agenda, we'll move on to public participation. Just a reminder, we are live streamed and there is a 3-minute cap on public comment. I have 3 people signed up for public participation. We'll begin with Tom Weaver. Please remember to state your name for the record prior to starting your comments.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Weaver.
My name is Tom Weaver. I am a county employee. I work for Dauphin County Victim Witness Assistance Program. I was also and have served the last 2 years at MDJ Office 12201 with Judge Michael Smith. I was there for the last 2 years with him, and I just wanted to mention a few things. I'm not speaking on behalf of Victim Witness or anyone from the county or Swatara Township or anything like that. I'm just speaking from my own experiences with him. You don't have to be in a courtroom to know that the world can sometimes be a very careless place Judge Smith's courtroom was not like that. When you walked into his courtroom, he was there for service. He respected everyone's time. He had no patience for the wasting of it. He never gave anyone a hard time that didn't need to hear it themselves. He never got out of line in terms of what he expected from people who walked into his courtroom, whether they were a public defender, whether they were a district attorney, whether it was someone coming in there just to talk about a traffic ticket. He demanded and expected professionalism from everyone, and he didn't hesitate to call anyone out when they were getting lax, not even his friends. What I will really miss about him was the dignity and humanity with which he would treat victims of crime who would come into his courtroom when they didn't ask to be there in the first place. I am a little disappointed with the county's acknowledgement of his passing after 20 years. I do appreciate your comments, Commissioner Douglas, and also the extended time for silence this morning. But there are employees here that have been traumatized by his passing, and it would have been nice to have heard something just in some sort of official capacity when we get mass emails about sports memorabilia sales that are happening in the courthouse and things of that nature. It would have been nice to have some type of acknowledgement. His ego never outgrew his robe, and his ego never got in the way of the service that he was elected to provide. He was truly there to serve his community. I just wanted to offer that. Thank you.
Tom, appreciate it. Next up, Antonio Foster.
Foster. I came here in the past. Our commissioner meeting spoke on things. I'm sure you guys remember. But the last meeting I came to, I was talking about me being bought out my house, 302. I want to show that I have some paperwork that I want to leave with you guys. Out the deal. I haven't spoken to my sister in 7 years, but evidently she must have been paid to do this because for me not to speak to somebody for 7 years, here's the paperwork. I haven't spoken to her for maybe over 7 years. I just found out now that she's the district manager for crisis intervention. For me not to speak to you, not only speak to you and I have seen you, and for you to make these accusations, for me not to see you for 7 years is just completely ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. Now, with you being a district manager, you went to your job, and you go to the end and you check the signing, the handwriting never changes. Even for the signing of other people, the handwriting never changes. Even though I haven't seen my sibling for 7 years, I still remember her handwriting. And there's just certain things on there that can't be denied. So for me not to see somebody for 7 years, and for her to go to work and put these accusations in about me, and even the one where she says I threatened somebody else, I told my brother I'll catch you at your house, take care. How does that sound like a threat? Nothing in there makes sense. If you read the whole situation, none of it makes sense. It's completely ridiculous. I just want to show that that's how they're using their power against me. It's no denying it. It's no denying it. And I'm actually going to, contact her job and see where things go from there because it really makes no sense. It's completely ridiculous. I stand right here with a sound mind. I talk perfectly. Actually, some people can pick the topic and I can run circles around them. That's how good I am at this. But the point is, for that to happen to me, I can't just stand down and just let things go. But I do appreciate your time. I don't even need the rest of the minutes. Thank you. You guys have a nice day.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. Next up, Gene Stilt.
Morning, Commissioners, folks.
Still.
Fishing Creek Valley, 1550 Fishing Creek Valley Road. Morning. The overwhelming publicity and rush to restart 3 Mile Island does not negate the overwhelming fact that evacuation is impossible and is a formula of total chaos and disaster. Today, let me focus on one community, Derry Township, otherwise known as Hershey. Yesterday I was at Chocolate World, where 400 children and their parents ran into the shop when the rain came down. It was like I was there to buy a Hershey Kiss. The Kiss is a symbol of the community for the entire world, as you know. Right? For the entire world. Let's go through different aspects of the evacuation of Hershey community. And don't forget, while Hershey is forced to do this, 100 other communities will also be forced to do this. See page 2 of the document I gave you. Derry Township residents are assigned to go over all kinds of congested roads to Lebanon County Tech Center. The thousands of Derry Township school children on page 3 are chaotically scattered all over the place. The children of all ages at risk. The nursery schools, which are not planned for, at risk. The thousands of workers in Derry Township businesses, including the Hershey food facilities, where thousands of workers are at risk. The businesses themselves at risk. The Hershey Medical Center, with over 600 beds and yearly serving hundreds of thousands of daily patients, at risk. The Children's Cancer Center, at risk. The exceptional neonatal unit there, at risk. The thousands of seniors in the nursing homes, at risk. You are given $1 million just gave $1 million to Hershey Harrisburg Visitors Bureau. Hershey brings in hundreds of millions of dollars of visitor dollars to the community, and each year it does that. And you're going to put this at risk? The evacuation plan, impossible, life-threatening, foolhardy, places tens of thousands at risk. Solution: bring the risk level down to zero by not cooperating in the emergency. Bring the risk level down to zero by not cooperating in the impossible evacuation plan. No risk. Do not make Hershey to be the slave of Constellation Energy and Microsoft Corporation, the shareholders. The county commissioners can accept this task, not cooperating in the insanity, but you have to put yourselves in a line. The choice is yours. We allow Hershey and Hershey Kiss to survive and be the symbol, or should we kiss Hershey goodbye? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Stilt. That's the end of my list, so now we will open up to anyone who maybe didn't get a chance to sign up on the list who would like to make public comment. Just a reminder, 3 minutes. If there's anyone for public comment, now's the time.
Good morning, Commissioners. Pamela Parson, City of Harrisburg. I really want to thank you for having the presentation that we had today from the Peyton Walker Foundation. And what really concerns me, though, is that very important information will be unavailable after 30 days. As I said before, and Facebook is now taking down all of these live presentations after 30 days. Beginning on February 19th, they started taking down those live broadcasts. They can be replayed and downloaded or shared on Facebook for just 30 days. After that, they're going to be automatically removed. And all of our older presentations, anything live that Dauphin County has done that is more than 30 days is gone. So anything from last year, all of those things. And Commissioner Priest, you are correct. There is a lot of work to be done. And I think that our taxpayers, the residents of Dauphin County, need to be able to see that going forward. And just as that is part of transparency, that needs to be maybe 2 years from now. Someone will want to look at what was said today, or someone will want to review the Peyton Walker Foundation presentation or any of the others that we've had in the last few months that have been that have been very good and should be something that should be available to residents of Dauphin County going forward. So once again, I urge you to move this to YouTube. Thank you.
Thank you, Pamela. We did have a conversation even following your comments last time, and spoke with the chief clerk about this matter actually yesterday. It's on our radar, and we're taking action to make sure we stream on multiple platforms, and that we also are able to download previous ones for reposting once we get that, for the sake of transparency. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Anyone else for public comment? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So,
moved by Commissioner Priest, seconded by Commissioner Hartwick. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Retirement Board.